That foghorn, isn't it awful, Kathleen?
It is indeed, ma'am. It's like a banshee.
Last night it drove me crazy. I lay awake wearing one till I couldn't stand it anymore.
Bad cess to it. I was scared out of my wits riding back home. I thought that ugly monkey might drive us into a ditch or a tree. You couldn't even see your hand in front of you. I'm glad that you had me sit in the back with you, ma'am. Mike can't keep his dirty paws to himself. Give him half an excuse if he's always pinching you on the leg or the you know where. Asking for your pardon, ma'am, but it's true.
It's not the fog I minded, Kathleen. I really love fog.
They say it's good for the complexion.
Oh, it hides you from the world and the world from you. Makes you feel like everything has changed and nothing is what it seemed to be. No one can find you or touch you anymore.
I wouldn't mind so much if Smythe were a decent, handsome man like some chauffeurs that I've met, if it were all in good fun for I'm a decent girl. But for an ugly, shriveled runt like Smythe, I told him, you must be hard up to think that I'd notice a monkey like you. I would give him a clout that would knock him into next week. So I will.
It's the foghorn I hate. Won't leave you alone. He keeps warning you and reminding you and calling you back. Oh, but I can't tonight. It's just an ugly sound. It doesn't remind me of anything. Well, except perhaps Mr. Tyrone snores. I've always had such for teasing him about it. He has snored ever since I can remember, especially when he's had too much to drink. And yet, he's like a child. He hates to admit it. Oh, well, I suppose I snore at times too, and I don't like to admit it. So I have no right to make fun of him, have I?
Sure, everybody healthy snores. It's a sign of sanity. So they say. What time is it, ma'am? I really ought to be in the kitchen. The damp is in Bridget's rheumatism. She's like a raging devil. She'll bite my head off.
No, don't go, Kathleen. I don't want to be alone yet.
You won't be for long. The master and the boys will be back soon.
Oh, I doubt they'll be back by dinner. They stay in the bars when they feel at home. They have such a good excuse, they believe. Oh, don't worry about Bridget. I'll tell her I kept you with me. And you could take a big drink of whiskey with her when you go. She won't mind then.
No, ma'am. That's the one thing that can make her cheerful. She loves her drop.
Have another one yourself if you wish, Kathleen.
I don't know, ma'am. I can feel that I've had already. Well, I suppose one more won't do any harm. Here's to your health, ma'am.
Oh, I did have good health once, Kathleen. Oh, but that was long ago.
The master's sure to notice what's gone from the bottle. He has the eye of a hawk for that.
Oh, don't worry. We'll play Jamie's trick on him. Just measure a few drinks of water and pour them in.
God save me. It'll be half the bottle. He'll know by the taste.
Oh no, by the time he comes home, he'll be too drunk to tell the difference. He has such a good excuse, he believes, to drown his sorrows.
Well, it's a good man's failing. I wouldn't give a tronine for a teetotaler. They've no high spirits. Good excuse? You think Master Edmund, ma'am? I can tell that the master's been worried about him.
Oh, don't be silly, Kathleen. A touch of grip is nothing. And Mr. Tyrone is never worried about anything. Except money and property, and the fear he'll end his days in poverty. And I mean deeply worried, for he cannot truly understand anything else. My husband is a very peculiar man, Kathleen.
Well, he's a fine, kind, handsome gentleman all the same now. Never mind his weakness.
Oh, I don't mind. I've loved him dearly for 36 years. And that proves I know he's lovable at heart and can't help being what he is, doesn't it?
That's right. Love him dearly, man, for any fool can see he worships the ground you walk on. Speaking of acting, how was it that you never went on stage, ma'am?
What put that absurd notion in your head? I was brought up in a respectable home and was educated in the best convent in the Middle West. Before I met Mr. Tyrone, I hardly knew there was such thing as theater. I was a very pious girl. I even dreamed of becoming a nun. I haven't had the slightest desire to be an actress.
Well, I can't imagine you becoming a nun, man. I'm sure you never darkened the door of a church. God forgive you.
I never felt at home at the theater. Even though Mr. Tyrone has made me go to all his tours, I've had little to do with the people in his company, or with anyone on the stage for that matter. Not that I have anything against them. They've always been kind to me and I to them, but I never felt at home with them. Their life is not my life. It's always stood between me and... Oh, but let's talk of not old things that couldn't be helped. How thick the fog is. I can't see the road. Other people in the world could pass by and I wouldn't even know. I wish it was always that way. It's getting dark. It will soon be night, thank goodness. It was kind of you to keep me company this afternoon, Kathleen. I would have been very lonely driving uptown alone.
Huh. Sure, wouldn't I rather ride in a fine automobile than sit and listen to Bridget's lies about her relations? It was like a vacation, man. There was just one thing I didn't like.
What was that, Kathleen?
The way the man in the drugstore acted when I came in to fill the prescription for you. The impudence of him.
What drugstore? What prescription? Oh, the medicine. Or the rheumatism in my hands. What did the man say? Not that it matters as long as he filled the prescription.
It mattered to me. I'm not used to being treated like a thief. He looked at me and he said, "Where did you get a hold of this?" And I said, "It's none of your damn business, but if you must know, it's for the woman that I work for, Mrs. Tyrone." And then he took one big look out at you and said, "Oh." And then he gave me the medicine.
Yeah, he knows me. I have to take it because it's the only one that can stop the pain. All the pain, I mean, in my hands. Oh. Poor hands. You never believe it, but they were once one of my good points, along with my hair and my eyes. Oh, and I had a fine figure too. They were musicians' hands. I used to love the piano. I worked so hard at my music in the convent, if you can call it work when you do something that you love. Mother Elizabeth and my music teacher both said that I had more talents than any student they remembered. My father paid for special lessons. He spoiled me. He would have done anything I asked. He would have sent me to Europe to study after I graduated from the convent. And I might have gone if I hadn't fallen in love with Mr. Tyrone. I had two dreams. To become a nun. That was the more beautiful one. And to become a concert pianist, that was the other. I haven't played a piano in so many years. I hardly could with such crippled fingers. After a time, after my marriage, I tried to keep up with my music, but it was hopeless. Why not stands, cheap hotels, dirty trains, never having a home, bearing children? See, Kathleen, how maimed and crippled. Oh, you would think they've been through some sort of accident. So they have, come to think of it. I won't look at them anymore. They're worse than the foghorn for reminding me. But even they can't touch me now. They're far away. I see them, but the pain is gone.
You've taken some of the medicine? It made you act queerly, ma'am. If I didn't know any better, I'd think you'd have taken.
It kills the pain. You go back until Alexia are beyond its reach. Only the past when you were happy is real. Oh, Cathleen, if you think Mr. Tyrone is handsome now, you should have seen him when I first met him. He had the reputation of being one of the best-looking men in the country. Well, the girls in the convent used to rave about him. He was a great matinee idol then, you know, and women used to wait at the stage door just to see him come out. You can imagine my excitement when my father wrote me that he and James Tyrone had become friends and that I was to meet him when I came home for Easter vacation. I showed the letter around to all the girls and how envious they were. My father took me to see him first. It was a play about the French Revolution, and the leading part was a nobleman. Oh, I couldn't take my eyes off him. I wept when he was thrown in prison, and then was so mad at myself because I was afraid that my eyes and nose would have been red. My father told me that we would see him in his dressing room after the play, and so we did. I was so bashful. All I could do was stammer and blush like a little fool. Oh, but he didn't seem to think I was a fool, no. He liked me the first moment we were introduced. I suppose my eyes and nose couldn't have been red after all. I was really very pretty then, Cathleen, and he was handsomer than my wildest dreams. In his makeup and nobleman's costume that was so becoming of him. He was like no ordinary man, like from another world. At the same time, he was simple and kind and unassuming, not a bit stuck up or vain. Oh, I fell in love right then. And so did he told me afterwards. I forgot all about becoming a concert pianist or a nun. All I wanted was to be his wife. 36 years ago. But I can see it as clearly as it were tonight. We loved each other ever since. And in all those 36 years, there has never been a breath of scandal about him. Not with another woman. Never since he met me. That has made me very happy, Cathleen. It has made me forgive so many other things.
He's a fine gentleman, and you're a lucky woman. Can I take the drink to Bridget, ma'am? It must be time for dinner soon, and she really ought to have someone in there helping her. If I don't get something to quiet her temper, she'll come after me with the cleaver.
Yes, go. I don't need you now.
Thank you, ma'am. You won't be alone for long. The master and the boys...
No, they won't be back. Tell Bridget I won't wait. You can serve dinner at probably half. I'm not hungry, but I'll sit at the table and we'll get it over with.
You really ought to eat something, ma'am. It's a queer medicine if it takes away your appetite.
What medicine? I don't know what you're talking about. You better take that drink to Bridget.
Yes, ma'am.